Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm sharing all of the layouts that I had made in the month of March 2024. All right, so during the month of March, I tackled a series on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page where I was going to go live every day for the month of March to tackle two challenges. One being Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and the other being Calvin Ball. And so I was calling it March Madness because tackling two challenges every single day for a month is a challenge for me and kind of crazy. Um, March Madness comes from the basketball term. For those of you who don't know, college basketball in the States has playoffs called March Madness, and my family are big basketball fans, not myself, but my boys. And so that's always been a thing in our house. So I thought that was appropriate place for me to spend my time in my craft room while they watch basketball. So anyhow, I have tackled that challenge and I went live all but I think 3 days. I think a couple of the days I had to go live at a different time than I had planned, but I did do a live stream. Most days were on YouTube, but on Tuesdays I go live for my local scrapbook store and decided to just amalgamate that with the 30 Days of Sketches / Calvin Ball challenge. So that you'll find those extra videos on my Facebook page, Paper Route Scrapbooking. So that shall all be linked below. Ooh, I can't talk. 30 Days of Sketches is just what it sounds like. Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life posts 30 sketches in an album on her Facebook group, and I'll have that linked below as well. This is her 14th series of it. So if you are loving sketches, that is a great place to go for sketch inspiration because she has 14 albums worth of 30 sketches on that Facebook group. So feel free to go and check that out. That's pretty exciting stuff. She then challenges her scrappy friends to tackle those 30 sketches during a certain month. So I think it's like March, June, and October, maybe. So yeah, I really enjoy that. I love sketches, so that's right up my alley. And then Calvin Ball is my friend Alice, who runs the Scrap Happy membership group, which is a paid membership, but they do have a lot of free events that happen on there or pay per events. So, for example, if you want to participate in Layout a Day, you can just go in and pay for that round of Layout a Day instead of for the full membership. I know people really love that membership group, especially if they live in a place where they do not have local gatherings of scrapbookers or a lot of in-person sorts of things. And some people just love it because they love being online with like-minded people. And they do offer quite a bit. So go over and check out Alice's Scrap Happy. Calvin Ball itself wasn't created by Scrap Happy. It was done by Get It Scrapped with Debbie Hodge. And then Debbie Hodge closed Get It Scrapped and passed the torch over to Alice at Scrap Happy. And now they host it. And yeah, it's free. There's no prizes or anything. It's just for bragging rights. Can I tell you my total? Let's see. Calvin Ball points total for the month was 1746, which is absolutely my highest. I've never even reached 1,000 before. So 1746 is pretty awesome. And I think people have till midnight tonight. Today is April 1st, and I think they have till midnight tonight to add their points into the leaderboard. So I may not stay at 12th place, but that's where I stand as of now, which is kind of cool. I have never been able to follow through with the whole 30 days of sketches, first of all. So doing all 30 was pretty cool. And then same with Calvin Ball. I always fall off around 20 days. That's usually my limit. So I was pretty happy that I got all 30 days done of this challenge for myself. So that was kind of neat. Anyways, let's see. I got a total of 47 layouts done this month, which is actually 53 pages for those of you who count pages instead of layouts, because I did some double pagers. So 47 layouts, 53 12 by 12 scrapbook pages, and I counted this time because I was curious, 174 photos. Isn't that cool? 174 photos documented in 1 month. I'm pretty impressed with myself. Okay, so if you watched my intro video, you would have seen that I was attempting with 30 Days of Sketches to tackle this box of photos that I had printed prior to buying a photo printer, and they were all printed in 4x6. And look, I emptied 1, 2, 3, 4 little packs of photos, and now I have like so much space in this box. I'm so excited about it. So that was pretty cool. I'm really happy with that accomplishment too. So let's get started with sharing the layouts that I made this month, and set that thing aside and just slide these over so that we can get a better look at the layouts. So this was the first layout for 30 Days of Sketches. I included Fred and Barney in there because there were Flintstone cars in my photos from Universal Studios. And this sketch, the first sketch for 30 Days of Sketches, was by Ginger from Ginger's Corner. If you're interested in ever doing some embellishment swaps, go check out Ginger's Corner. She has swaps in US, Canada, parts of the UK, and Australia now, which is really cool. So go check that out if you ever were curious about that. And I do a video for her called Scraps to Embellishments once a month too, so you can watch for that. So that was layout number 1, Cave Mobiles. And I think I'm going to just set those aside. I have to put those away after. Look at this stack, by the way. Like, what? I'm going to be putting away layouts all day long. Okay. So this was the second layout for 30 Days of Sketches, and it was a double pager, and it was by Sean Styles Lar. And this was the layout that I came up with. It was a basketball layout. I used an Echo Park basketball collection, and I really loved the colors in this one. There was not too much orange, and I felt like the orange wasn't too like orange because very seldom do my basketball pictures have bright orange in them, because a basketball is actually like this more faded color of orange, right? Kind of like a more of a rusty kind of color. So anyways, we had a great time at this game, and I'm glad to have that documented. So a lot of these were trips that we had taken at some point, and I'm really excited to get some of these trip albums finished, first of all, because there's a couple of them that will be done, and then to get just more accomplished that way. So this was the third sketch. It was by Vanessa Bell, and she did this beautiful one that had like these streaky things, which reminded me of this paper that I had done in a mixed media class. So I made this background with just distress inks. It was super easy. You just like drag them across your page kind of a thing, which was kind of interesting. So got that documented. And this was a trip too, but we were in Toronto visiting my brother. So that's my brother and my son at a board game cafe before they were really a thing. It was one of the first ones, I think, in Canada anyway, called Snakes and Lattes. Very cool. Now this sketch was a double pager, but I only did the right hand side of it. So it was by Brandy Joe. And I only did photo wise, the right hand side is how I set up my photos. And then I took the two like torn corner pieces and put them on both sides, or like both into the one layout. So that's how I did that one. So that was exciting. And the other thing about these is because handwritten journaling was on the list for Calvin Ball, I did a lot of my journaling that way, even though usually I type my journaling. So it was good. got me using some things that I don't usually use, like these stamps that are specifically for journaling, right? And some journaling spots and such. Okay, Crystal Barrett did this sketch, and this is one of the ones that I did for our store, and I was advertising these freaking adorable All in Create fish drops. Like, I love these things. And it's so funny because when the store owner was like, here, how about these? And I was like, okay. I wasn't sold on it. But then when I took them out of the package and started putting them on my layouts, I'm like, these are my new favorite thing. I love them so much. So yeah, All in Create. Their die cut packs, by the way, are awesome for people like me who have a ton of scrapbook paper, but like to buy like new things or like smaller embellishments just to add to all of that paper that's already existing in my scrap room. So check them out if you haven't already. They also do stamps and dies and such. But I love their embellishment packs. Okay, here's another double page layout. And the sketch for this one is by Brandy Bocom. And I really liked the angled squares around. So I just drew some on my layout, and I really like how that looked. It was like a different way to frame the layout, and I really liked it. So I do love that about 30 days of sketches, or any sketch challenge really, about how, like, instead of just going with your like average layout ideas that, I have my go-tos. Everybody does, I think. And I like that it takes me out of my comfort box, I guess. So anyways, this one was a fun one too. And I added some memorabilia on this one, which was cool. And I used what collection did I use? It was like I don't know. I had it in with like my graduation stuff, but it wasn't specifically for grad. It was more like a gold. It was like something called gold, and it was, so I was like, that'll do. And then I pulled some movie stuff out because it was from a tour at the Warner Brothers studio, which is actually cool. If you ever get a chance to go and check out their VIP studio tour, it's way better than the one at Universal Studios. Probably not exciting for super little kids, but teenagers for sure. All right, and here's another one. This is all about the shoes. We went to see the Nike headquarters, and the sketch was by Tracy England. And it had 3 tall photos, and instead of 3 photos, I just did the one. So I changed it up a little bit, and where she had some embellishing, I did some stenciling. Kind of fun. I just love this thicker set. I wish I had more. I only got 1 pack. And then I did this fun tag layout that feature. I think this one was for the store. No, was this one? No, I don't think so. But I did stenciling on here, and I did washi on the tags. And I just had these like white tags from Basil that were like super old. And this is by Jennifer Gagne. And I think she is Kay's mom here on YouTube. KAEZMUM. And I think she's a fellow Canadian as well. But yeah, I had really lots of fun with this one. The stenciling was fun. And I just had these like blank Basil white tags. And I was like, yep, I'm going to make them fun. This is what inspired me to pull out that box of tags. Was this little like tag stream down the left-hand side. So very inspiring to do these 30 days of sketches. And also the splattering. I like the look of splattering, but I always forget to do it at the end of my layouts. And then I moved on to some penguin. So during the Calvin Ball crop, you get a chance to like tell Alice what you want added, and I picked penguin, and she added penguin, so I got extra points for my penguins, which was kind of fun. So I did this layout about penguins that we saw at, I believe, at SeaWorld. and I used up a little pack of something. So that was my first pack. I did end up using up, I think, 4 packs of things. So not a lot, but I did a deep dive, like lots of stash busting. Even though I didn't finish up a lot of things, I did go into a lot of things that I don't normally, like these little journaling spots, for example. I don't typically grab for those because I like to do my journaling on the computer. But look at, I used so many of these this time. Same with these viewfinders. I always forget about them, but they're so easy to add to a layout, and our little cameras. Just so many of those little things that I don't think about all the time, but it was really fun to get them opened up and onto some layouts. This is the sketch, and it is by Jessica Fenhill. Which is a very pretty sketch. And yeah, this was my take on it. I was noticing too when I was looking at these, I called a few of my layouts happy, just because that's what was in the packaging or whatever, like in the collection kit. And so I was like, is that the new best day ever? Happy? I don't know. Watch and see if you think it is. Next sketch was by Sarah Davies, and I really liked the layering on this one, and I did a bunch of layering. I used this grunge kit from 3/4 Designs. All of that background stuff is done for you. Most of the 3/4 Design stuff though is very shabby chic. I picked the grungy one because that was more my style, but if you love like the Minte papers and stuff, definitely go check out 3/4 Designs. They have some very fascinating, beautiful collections. Okay, and then, so I also started getting some gears and stuff on there, which also very easy to add to a layout, but I don't always think about that kind of thing. So I love that about Calvin Ball. That's me doing all the things. This one, I had a few sheets of this paper, so I fussy cut the bottom one out and like popped it up on foam. Can you see like how it's kind of lifted? And it's hard to see on camera because everything is 2-dimensional on camera, but it's really cool the way that it looks popped up in real life. I really like this one, even though it's not like new and trendy paper. But anyway, the sketch here is by Tara Van Morsel, and she goes by Tara Scraps on Instagram and on YouTube. Tara Scraps. So really pretty sketch, actually. I really liked the stars, but these were the photos that I picked, so I didn't do a ton of the stars, but super fun. Also got lots of doilies used up, and I just did another doily swap with Ginger's Corner, so I'm excited to see what's coming down my way for that. This was another one that I did for the store, and I stenciled on the background. And then I ended up covering up most of my stenciling, but that's okay because it just adds that extra layer of framing to my photos, which I really love. The sketch was by Pamela Lyons, which is really kind of a different one. I liked how the photos were in 2 separate places. That was kind of cool. And I really liked looking at other people's takes on this particular sketch. They were all very different, which was kind of neat. I did roasting marshmallows, and this little thing was from like 25 years ago. It was like from the year 2000. It was a cut apart sheet, but it's never too late to use things that you love. I feel like if you still like it and you think you could use it, keep it. Products are getting so expensive these days. Okay, this one was Chucky and his bride. It was from a haunted house we went to in Universal Studios back in 2014. And the story that I'm telling, though, is that my brother had a doll called My Buddy. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it looked like a clean version, obviously, of Chucky, but it used to scare the crap out of me because I would see it and I'd be like, oh my gosh, is that thing gonna come to life and come after me? Ugh. Anyhow. So this sketch is by Amanda Castle, and I liked, again, how it's just like a different way of putting your photos on the layout, but not something I probably would have come up with on my own. So I really do love that. I love trying new things and doing things differently. So yeah, this was a fun one too. And not like, I wanted to have some like creepy theme, but I didn't want it to look like Halloween, and I think I accomplished that with this layout. Okay, and then I did this one about the candy store that we went to in Astoria. So fun. It was so beautiful. And I loved the theming inside. Like they had like these cotton candy lights, and the counter was this popcorn stand, and it was just very cool. So, and another kind of cool sketch by Stacy Donner Tawari, I think it says. And I really liked the idea of like these giant tags on your layouts. So cutting your strips of paper into giant tags, that was super fun. And I also loved, this was from this like paper was Sweet Rush. And I was like, I can actually get real candy stuff on here. Because I'm very literal, but this like strip of candies and then like these little candy pieces. So fun. So fun. All right. And then we got a layout about Shrek 4D, which apparently does not exist anymore at Universal Studios. So that's sad. But anyway, times do change, right? So, and I really liked this one too. This one was from Lisa Cuneo Scrapbooking. Lisa Cuneo. And what I liked about it was the this paper being cut apart into strips. So it's like all one paper, but it's cut apart into strips and then mounted on another piece of paper. And I would not think to do that on my own. So I really, really love how that turned out. And again, using things like this journaling stamp that I don't normally use because I usually computer journal in here. I was trying to do handwritten journaling. So that's kind of fun, right? So, yep, I liked that layout too. And then we got another thing used up was, I'll show you what it was. It was this Universal Studios laser cut piece, and it is by Petticoat Parlor, which I believe I looked up and is still functioning and happening, and you can buy from them. And it had this Hollywood Studios, it says Universal Studios Hollywood border. So it was like specifically made with things that were currently at Hollywood Studios at that time, which was kind of cool. Like it says Shrek 4D because I bought it at the time that I went there. So I really liked that. And so that was my second package that I used up. And this sketch was by Ashley the Scrapping Nerd, day 16, and I turned the sketch, so I actually went this direction instead of this direction. That's how I did that. And look at me using glitter letters, so fancy, using up a lot of things, which was exciting. So some other things that I went digging for that I wouldn't normally is like these acetate frames and some of these like older sticker things, these like Jolie stickers. These stickers, these ticket ones, they were from like Stickopotamus back in the day where you like pulled the stickers off of the roll. That's how old I am. Okay, and then we have another package used up, which was this die cut pack from Simple Stories, and it was kind of looked like cut apart cards, but they were like, I don't know, Project Life cards, I guess, from Simple Stories Snap album stuff. So that I used the rest of those, which was kind of cool. This was the sketch by Lisa Marie. And I did a current photo. So this was the day 17, and I scrapped a photo from that day that my beautiful daughter-in-law sent to me of her and my son and their puppies all dressed up for St. Patty's Day. And I used this fun Charmed Life collection from Simple Stories that I used to have a ton of, and I'm starting to run low. And I made my own background paper out of those beautiful branding strips instead of tossing them in the recycling. So that was kind of fun. I also got a pocket on there. So I really like how this one turned out too. And this like acetate piece, I always struggle with what to do with those. And then once in a while I'll be like, oh, that actually looks really cool when it's all on there. Okay, then we did this one, Day 18 sketch by Judith Garcia. That's the sketch there. This is my take on it. And I was fascinated by the scale of some of the sets that they used on the, this was just on our Universal Studios Hollywood studio tour at the park. And yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, how I was fascinated by the scale of things and how sometimes they are so much smaller than they actually appear on film. Yeah. So that was a good time. This is another one of those stickers that was from the days when you pulled them off of the roll. Really doing some stash bash in there. Okay. Put that away. And then this one is from Ruth Lewandon. And I did a layout. This one is another one from the store that I worked with some washi tape and on the set of Friends today. And then this is pictures of us at the Central Park at Warner Brothers Studios. Really fun. Again, using up things that I don't usually reach for, like these journaling squares and what else? Things like keys and butterflies and bees, but I don't feel like they're completely out of place either. I feel like my layouts are still cohesive and fun and still my style. Okay, and then this one called Pause. This sketch was from Claudia Henderson, and it is, I again used those really super fun fish drops. How cute are those? And these bubble looking stencils, which was cool. These are actually pretty fun too. These are chipboard from Paper Rose, and I was able to take them apart into these little pieces, like these little circles, and ink them with like Distress Stain, and then put them back together when I put them on my layout, which was kind of cool, right? And then there's some littler versions that don't have the pieces that come apart, but those are really cool. So if you haven't looked at Paper Rose's chipboard, they have all kinds of very interesting different packages of chipboard. So if you're looking for something unique, maybe check there. And then we have this one, which is about a restaurant we were eating at while we were in California because it was in the hotel parking lot. And this sketch is from Adam Westwood, who is Scrappy Adam here on YouTube. And we have this torn paper with something showing in between. And I stenciled the wood grain onto some craft cardstock, which was kind of cool. What else? Oh, and this little jar. Oh my gosh, these are from Jolie's Boutique. And then I just cut a little like tiny line in the back and stuck some sequins in there for like a little sequin shaker, which is so fun. Yeah. So that was my layout for day 21. Then we had day 22, which I actually missed. Where was I on day 22? Oh, I was sick that day, so I didn't do this one until later. I did it the next day actually because I had to host a crop at the store, and so I just took it with me and did this one at the store. So I used up another package. I used up a Doodle Pop pack with our little friend the polar bear here and some his little fishy friends. So package number 4. And then we have the sketch created by Shannon Blinn. And instead of on the left, I used this kind of design as patterned paper embellishment blocks instead of photos. And then here I put 2 photos instead of 1. So changing up the sketch a little bit, but kind of keeping it, you can still see that it comes from this inspiration, right? So don't take it so literally. It doesn't have to be, it can be whatever you imagine it to be, really, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this one I think turned out really fun too. And, oh, and this vellum piece back here, I've had this forever, but it's finally on the layout. And isn't it kind of cool? Yeah, it's a vellum just on top of that white cardstock, and I think it turned out really cute. Day 23, I was in fact at, I don't think there's a video for this either because I was in fact at the crop, so I wouldn't have gone live. I was there from like 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I think it was. And so, yeah, I worked on it there. And then I did some, this was like a Crayola line of scrapbooking supplies that I got at a garage sale, and it was from Hallmark from the early 2000s. And so the girls at the crop were teasing me that I was using vintage scrapbook supplies, which is not wrong, but I thought it turned out really cute. And it was all about, this photo is of a sketch that an artist did. You know those street artists that they have in the parks sometimes? And he asked if he could draw Aiden's caricature, and then of course wanted us to pay for it. Which I did because I'm a sucker. But anyway, so here is the sketch. She actually had like a big embellishment on the left hand side, and I just took that to be an embellishment cluster and did it my own way. And then I had these really big, they're not really big, but they're big enough, enamel dots from Recollections. And I don't really love the size of them for clustering, so I use them as my, like, to enhance some of my polka dots on the page. So if you're wondering what to do with some of those bigger ones, that's another fun way to use them up. Yeah. Okay. And then moving on to day 24, we have this kind of hand-drawn sketch by Tana Peterson. And I went ahead and scrapbooked a photo from the Harry Potter exhibit at Warner Brothers Studio and talked about Wizard's Chess. And I had a lot to say about it because it was one of those things in the movie that really, I thought, developed the characters very well. But anyway, so that was my layout about Wizard's Chess. Kind of fun. This is not supposed to be on here. I don't know why it is. Weird. I could add it. Here, let's add it. Or maybe it was supposed to be on here and I just didn't glue it down. That's also possible. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. So there we have it. Little layout about Wizard's Chess. Then we have for day 25, and we have this one, which is again about a candy shop. So I used that Sweet Rush collection from Vicky Boutin again. And I really loved this circle element, but I wanted a doily because doily was on the Calvin Ball list. But of course I didn't have any but in that size except for white and red. So I just inked this up with some distress ink and it worked out just perfectly on my layout. So this one was all about how, and I changed the photos. So see how those two photos are like two horizontal photos, but I had a vertical and a horizontal. So I just changed up the photo placement. But yeah, this was all about how my kids, I told them to pick a fun flavor, and they picked corn and buffalo wings. What? Weird kids. And this one is by Kristen Hughes. So that one turned out really fun. Day 26 was this layout here, and it was by Lori Roach Rose. And it is starting, as you can see, starting to get busy in the clusters for the Calvin Ball prompts, but I still think that I made them cohesive and not too weird. So, like, there's no, I don't know, toadstool on here, for example. But anyway, yeah. So this is another one. This one was for the store, so if you're looking for this video, it'll be on my Facebook page. And it was about using stamps on your layouts. So there's stamping in the back of that stenciling. There's also, these are stamps in here. Yeah. So that was another, this is also stamp down here. Then we have day 27, which was this sketch by Liz Jardell Fry. And I used that grunge collection again from 3/4 Designs. And I really love how it turned out. It was about an underground tour, how we saw this sidewalk from above ground, and this is the same sidewalk from underground, which I thought was really cool. And then I did another one with that same collection, but we did some big hexagons design, which was kind of fun. And this one was just about the creepy steam bath that was underground, which I thought, I don't know why somebody would think that was a good idea, but apparently that was one of the businesses that was down there for a long time. 28 was by Bev Lewis, which I loved, this different idea of using the big hexagons and the small hexagons and all different sizes of hexagons. It was a lot of fun. So that was the layout I came up with. And then for day 29, we have a sketch from Rebecca Becca. And I really actually ended up loving how this turned out. At first I saw it as a bit of a simple sketch, but once I got like tearing the paper and making this big corner piece, and then I stenciled my own background paper because I didn't have a 12 by 12 left. Yeah, I really liked how this one turned out. So this is just pink cardstock with red ink stenciled on top in a repeating pattern, and it turned out really great. It was fun. So, and look at that. I found rainbows that weren't rainbow colored and got them on my layout. How fun is that? So yeah, that's the sketch. And then the final sketch for 30 Days of Sketches, sketch number 30, was by Holly Fiercely. And it was a double pager, and I actually made it a double page. Here we go. That's the sketch. And I used this beautiful piece of patterned paper from Cartabella, but I used it in circles, almost like looking out a portal on a ship, right? And seeing what was happening under there. So I thought that was a great way to use that very busy patterned paper without overwhelming your layout. So I was really happy with the way this one turned out. And then I was going to do all the circles with this paper, but then once I got those circles on there, I was like, no, I just want one of those beautiful pattern papers in each cluster kind of a thing. So that is how that turned out. Yeah. So that was my final layout for 30 Days of Sketches. So those were 30 layouts, and I have 17 more layouts that I did in the month of March. So I went to a monthly crop that I often attend with some local scrapbook friends, and I worked with this collection scrapbooking workshop from close to my heart called Hey Handsome. And I got 2 of the 3 layouts done. I wasn't there for a really long time because I had appointments that day too, and just ended up arriving kind of like supper time-ish and staying for a bit. So I did this one, and it's all about my youngest and his daddy and how they graduated at the same time. So he graduated from high school at the same time that my husband graduated from his master's degree, and they just have so much in common. Like, they both loved kids. They both loved to be outdoors. I just thought it was really cute. Father and son. And then I did this one, which was another grad layout for him, and it was all about my favorite black and white shots. So my brother took them for a photo shoot when they had their cap and gowns, and these are my favorite black and white shots that he did. So how cute are those? They're just the cutest. I love them. They're home right now, but they're doing their homework. And then I also, on March 10th, I went to a scrapbooking class at the Paper and Ink Boutique in Calgary, where we did a 10 layout class with Jennifer Edwardson. And I didn't finish all of these that weekend at all, But I did do some of them at the crop that I went to later in the month. Like, so the one I just showed you, that crop was like on the 5th or something. And then this class was on the 10th. And then I went to another crop on the 23rd. And that's when I finished most of these. So, but still done in the month of March, right? So this was a class. So this was the first layout. And they're all from the same trip because I found that to be easier. If I just took photos from the same trip and took a collection that went with them. So this was the east coast of Canada, the first time I visited there, and some of the things we saw, all those little like wood carving structures that are painted and so freaking cute, right? More art on the coast. This, I cracked up when I saw the name of that store, Hags on the Hill. Like, what? Who calls themselves that? But anyway, so here's the hag, and she's got a mermaid tail, and that's also a wood carving. And then all like the carvings and painting were beautiful in there. So there was that. This was a harborfront museum, and this is all about like how big things are. So like the buoy, the lighthouse light, and the anchor, like those are not small things, right? My husband is 6'4", and the angle that this is at, makes it look like he's taller up on this than he actually is, but those are huge. And I'm like, where do you get a light bulb for that? It's huge. Peggy's Cove, if you've never been, you should. It's so beautiful there. It's just a little village, coastal village, but it has the most famous lighthouse. When you see it, you will know it. It's in so many movies and things, but I loved this. This layout particularly is about the legend of Peggy, that Peggy's Cove was named after. So I didn't do any of my own journaling on here. I just used the plaque as my journaling. And then this one is about us going looking for seashells on the beach. I had a couple of extra little photos, so I just made a flap for that. And I'll just cut a little slit in the page protector so that you can lift it up. So got a couple extra photos on that one. Yeah, and it was just about us, like the red sands of the Prince Edward Island and looking at the shells and whatnot. We did pick some. We did take some home and made our, like you could buy like little jars with PEI sand and little shells and whatnot, but I was like, let's just go to a beach and pick some of our own and grab some sand and take it home, and we'll make our own jar, which we did. So, and it was free. This is a museum we went to, which was really fascinating because all the museums I go to on the prairies are all about farming equipment and life on the prairies and how hard it was way back in the day, and like housing and structures and how people created livable structures on the prairies in the wintertime to survive. And many people did not survive because it's harsh weather out here. But then on the coast, it was all about the fisheries and all about, losing people at sea, because that's also a difficult life. And like, imagine going out on the ocean and something like that. Like that, I'm sorry, but that is terrifying to me. And then things that I've never seen before in my life because I don't live near a coast, like an eel pot. A what? Why would you want to catch an eel? Ugh. Anyway, it's just terrifying to me. And then here's another one. This was that same harbor front museum in Halifax, that with all the bigger things. And yeah, got to see a bunch of different artifacts. I really liked this one room that they had where they had like full-size sailboats up. It was like the size of like an airplane hangar kind of. It was kind of cool. And I liked it because you could see the underneath of the ships. And then this one was that same kind of fisheries museum, but this is more about like the sewing of sails and stuff. So the equipment and things that it took to like sew those big canvas things. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then this was the last layout from that class, and it was a double pager, and this is not what the sketch looked like at all. It had much different photos, but I used the same paper placement and then added all these photos because I wanted all of my pretty houses. I was obsessed with these houses. This is Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, and I don't know if they have like a bylaw or something that tells them they have to paint their houses in pretty colors, but it was a gorgeous little town, and I could not stop taking pictures of the rainbow plethora of houses. Like, just look at these. Some of them are so fascinating. This one's like a turquoise color. This one's like a hot pink. Like, they just, like, there was no boundary. The houses here are beige and gray and beige and gray. But here they're like every color of the rainbow. It was so cool. Anyway, I loved it. Loved it. So, like I said, I finished most of those during the crop that I went to on the 23rd. This is the only unique layout that I did that day because that day I, A, wasn't feeling good, B, was hosting, so I was busy. I created this layout as the make and take for the crop, and then I used a photo from the crop on it. And it says, welcome to Create, because the name of the store is Create. And then it's my happy space, and it's with the Cartabella Happy Crafter collection, and I really love it. I think it turned out super cute. And then during that crop, like I said, I finished those East Coast layouts that I had started at Jennifer Edwardson's class on the 10th, and then I also did the days that I missed. So I did the 10th because I had missed that one, and then I did the 22nd because I had been sick that day, and then I did the one from the 23rd, which was the day that I was there, but it just didn't get a video, obviously, because I was at the crop. So that's what I got done that day. It was a lot of finishing up stuff and not a lot of like new creation, but this was my new creation because that was the make and take that I made for the ladies who attended. So then on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, what was that? The 28th, I think. Vicki Booten did a bonus layout class for all of us who took her Discover and Create workshop, weekend workshop. And so these were the bonus layouts from that. So she did, it's 5 pages. I kept this one. She did them so that they could be double page or single page, and I kept this one as a double. And it is of my kids just hanging out in Niagara on our last family vacay. I'm really looking forward to having another time where I can have all of my kiddos together. It's coming up. We're going to do it. But yeah, so we were in Niagara Falls, and this is them just checking out Clifton Hill while I stayed home with the babes. So that was that. And the title was Discover and Create, so I changed it to Discover Together and Create Memories, which I think turned out pretty cool. I just used some Tim Holtz stickers for that. And then this was another one, same trip, but this was at the house, and just about them being together and enjoying their time together. This one was about my youngest and his girlfriend meeting the baby, who's not a baby anymore, but it was super fun, and they just loved her. She's just a sweetie pie. And then this one is all about my grandson staying the first time by himself with Grandma and Grandpa. So he stayed at the Airbnb while his mom and dad went back home because they had to, well, they were getting married, so they had things to do for the wedding. But yeah, he got to stay with us, which was a lot of fun. It was our first time having him by ourselves overnight. So it was cool. Yeah, so that is basically it, I think, for my layout share. I completed 47 layouts, or if you count pages, 53 pages, documented 174 photos, used up 4 packages of product, and scored 1,746 points, and I got to 12th place on the leaderboard for Calvin Ball, which is just bragging rights. There's no prizes or anything. And I completed all the 30 Days of Sketches Series 14 layouts. I also did the 10 layouts from the Jennifer Edwardson UYOP, Use Your Own Product class from the Paper and Ink Boutique. I hosted a crop where I made a make and take layout. And I went to a crop where I completed 2 double page layouts from a Close to My Heart workshop kit. And I did the Discover and Create bonus class. So I got a lot of scrapbooking done in the month of March, which I knew I would because I was home for most of the month and I had those classes and crops. And so I'm just really happy with what I got done. So I hope you enjoyed my layout share and I hope it wasn't too long for you. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. And I hope y'all have a great day. Bye for now.